right, we are live. Welcome to the 4 o'clock class. This will be a very quick class. It's going to be on a roach project with our Madagascar hissing cockroaches that we have a lot of. So this is going to be a quick project that you guys can do in the classroom. For homeschool, it's probably pretty good. So we're just going to get right to it. Roaches, you know, they're arthropods. Arthropods meaning, you know, jointed feet, jointed legs. We're going to use your imagination. So we have a head, thorax, abdomen. Okay. We have our 2 antennas. We're going to be talking about that also. That's going to be a part of our experiment, because our experiment is going to involve scent. So for our roaches, we're going to be observing the antenna. That's going to be one of the behaviors that we're going to be looking for. And also your abdomen, there's going to be some abdominal waggling, however you want to say it, call it. We can say wagging, that might be easiest. You will see that in the males. But for the anatomy purposes, our roaches do not have wings. So our hissers do not have wings in any stage, especially the adult stage, so they do not fly. All right, so you don't have to worry about that. And we also have 6 legs, all attached to the thorax. All right. Now let's get to our roaches. So I have mine in a 10-gallon, and that's like your standard. I think they're like $15.99, maybe in Petco or PetSmart. If you don't want to get the 10-gallon, there's other sizes you can get, but we're just going to grab a couple so that we can see who's who. So here's another behavior, the hissing. And this is actually a girl, so girls will also hiss. So we'll go over. Okay, so we're going to be looking at this dark part right here. That's part of the thorax. And you're going to be like, well, where's the head? The head is actually tucked under here. Okay, so that's the head right there. And she is hissing away here. All right, so let's try to find a boy. All right, here we go. We are hissing away. Oh, this one's got a lot of mites on it. All right, here we go. They don't bite. You don't got to worry about biting. Do we see the difference immediately? And you see the antenna, how they're waving? That is a behavior that we're going to be looking at. The antenna are going to be waving. Okay? All right, here we go. Did we see any differences? Oh, come here. Let's grab another one. She's kind of wiry. Okay. All right, so we're going to be looking at these protrusions right here. Okay. So on the thorax, the males are going to have these bumps, okay, or humps, pronotal humps, okay? And this is going to indicate that you have a boy. Our girls are going to have a smoother thorax, okay? It's smoother, all right? Here we go. You guys can get a good look right there, okay? So that's the difference. All right, for the juveniles, you can just call them unknowns. You know, some of the younger ones, it's kind of hard to tell what they are. Let's see, come here. Come here. Let's have a regular roach party here. So let's grab a juvenile, this little guy right here. We'll flip him around. All right, so they're kind of, you know, we're not sure yet. So these can be unknowns in your experiment. We will put them back. So where do you get these? You can get them online. That's probably your best bet. If you can find a zoo nearby or a nature center, sometimes they have surplus roaches that they don't want anymore, and instead of putting them in the freezer, they'll give them to you. Or you can order them online. eBay. It's the best, easiest way to go. They normally come in a container like this. Hopefully they won't just come in an empty box, you know, with just them walking around. So you should come in a box, live critter box. They'll come in the container. Usually it's padded a little bit inside. You got your container. Right now it's like 30 degrees in New Jersey. Not a good time to buy roaches. Okay, so you kind of want to watch the weather because they are a little bit temperature sensitive. So we're going to grab a container. I think this is like a 2-gallon. It's not the largest, but it's a decent size. It's smaller than your 10-gallon. It's plastic. It's lighter. I wouldn't go smaller than this size. These are my feeder roaches. I keep them in here. Okay. There's also these round containers that are pretty cool. The only thing is that they're not really deep enough for our project. So, it's up to you. This one I like. It's got good height, good depth. So what do you use for your substrate? It's up to you. I like to use, these are aspen shavings. These are not display animals. These are my own personal bugs. If you see them on display, usually you will see them on Reptibark. Basically darker colors because it masks all the, we'll say, excrement. Whereas if you have the shavings, you can kind of see it more. And for me, it's like, okay, I need to change the shavings out. But when they're on display, you kind of want to not have all that advertised. So you tend to use the Reptibark. You can also use the bricks. These are the coconut fiber bricks. You just soak the whole brick in water, wait for that to soften up, and you know, a couple inches. Mine like to burrow. It depends on how hot, cold it is in your room. My room varies, so I like to keep a couple inches in there at least. For this experiment, we're not going to put anything inside. Usually they like to have, you know, stuff to climb on. I use driftwood. If I do use a branch from outside, I stick it in the freezer so you're not bringing anything outside inside. But for this one, we're just gonna, you know, do something like this. You're gonna need some paper tubes. I don't like to use TP rolls because kids like to put those in their mouths and talk out of them, and it's kind of gross. Paper towel rolls, or, you know, just get a bunch online. Again, it depends on your container. Okay, it depends on how big your container is. These I'm probably going to cut to about toilet paper roll size. Okay, and you're going to need some scents. So, something that's going to be not toxic to your roaches. So you don't want something that's like totally alcohol based. You don't want to use like a deterrent like mint or eucalyptus. You don't want to harm them. The alcohol, they have an exoskeleton and outside skeleton, chitin. So if you use certain sprays and it gets on them, it might harm that chitin and harm their exoskeleton. So we don't want to do that. But either way, you're gonna let the scent dry on the tube. So we just cut the tubes. That's it. Simple, simple, simple. Cut. Cut. I'm just gonna go through the motions with this to save time. I got Clinique. I got some French vanilla. And I have a little clementine that, you know, you just cut in half. Rub it. And then I have Q-tips for the perfume. I wouldn't spray a whole thing. That's going to be too overpowering. Okay, so you can just use your Q-tips and apply scent. Mark it. Marker. Mark what you got. Throw it in there. And as far, it depends on how many roaches you have, how many kids you have. Okay, so, you know, if you want to use an even number, maybe 6 roaches. Okay, so the different behaviors that you're going to be looking for. We already heard the hissing. So how do they hiss? Well, let's see. You see those black dots? So the black dots are along the abdomen on both sides. All bugs have that. All insects have that. And those are spiracles. That's how they breathe. But they also force air out of it. And that's how you get that hissing sound. The hissing sound is like, okay, don't pick me up. This is a girl. So she is not very happy that I'm picking her up. So that's what that is. But they'll also do that with each other. You know, this is my log. Get off my log. Let's see. Let's grab. Oh, we can grab a couple more here. Looks like I have a lot of females. So it's up to you if you want to get, you know, X amount of males, X amount of females. Just mark it down if you have unknowns. The batch I got, my colony is like 20 years old, give or take. So every now and then I'll get a new, you know, new genetics in there. This was 12 pairs plus bonus. I think he sent me like 20 roaches. And I definitely need more males. So it just depends on what you have. If you have all females, then, you know, it's not horrible, but okay. So we have a lot of hissing. So here's a male. And the males will also have, you're not going to see this too well. I'll have pictures up. But the males, they're going to be waving their antenna a bit more. Their antenna are a bit more branched off than the females. The females, it tends to just be more straight. Okay? Whereas the males, it's more... think of it like a feather, not like a Luna moth, not like the males, okay? It's not that plumish, but there is a bit more branching out. Maybe you can kind of see that. There is some branching out, and obviously that is going to help the scent hook up to the antenna, so the roach, you know, can sniff around. So put your roaches inside, and it doesn't take long. Oh, see, we already have a roach inside. So this could be an observation. All right, so this would be roaches inside the container that had the Clinique on it. Okay, and you would write that down. Inside, outside. You might have another one that is on top of the container. You might have some that avoid the container. So those are all observations. If all the containers or if all the tubes are, you know, if they avoid all the tubes, that's still an observation. So no observation is an observation. And maybe they just don't like that scent. So now you know. You can repeat it. Looks like we just have one in there. But this is kind of the setup. Again, this is temporary. If you're going to do this, have it full time, I would put Vaseline, because these guys will climb. They do climb, and they will get out. So we don't want that. The top, they can also get through this. So just make sure it's closed, or else they're going to be sneaking out. I always like to keep my containers like this, because I'm always in and out, but not for the hissers. The hissers will definitely get out, but like my cave roaches, yeah, they don't climb. They don't fly either. And that's another thing. If you wanted to use a different type of roach, you can, but, you know, feeder roaches are readily available. They're very shy. You're not really going to see them. I think I have like a roach mite in my nose. You're not really going to see them. They like to hide. They're photophobic. Photo, light, phobic, afraid of the light. They scatter. Your hissers, they're pretty tolerant of light. That's why they make I think one of the best, probably the best insects to use in a classroom with kids, because they're always going to be out. You know, they don't really care what's going on. They don't really mind being handled. They're not going to bite. You really got to try hard to get bit by a roach. These roaches, anyway. And I can already see there's antenna are waving over here, and I can see that's a boy. Without seeing the roach itself, just the antenna, I know it's a boy because it has that thicker branching out on the antenna. I'm going to flip it over just to make sure. And yep, it's our boy. So I don't know if you can see, we're looking at this guy, and he's really waving his antenna. So again, I just stuck this branch in there just to get, just to make it go a little bit faster. But that's some wagging. So again, count how many roaches you have. You can note it by the sex that they are. Male, female, and unknown if you don't know. If you have paint, the kid-friendly paint, you can tag them to keep track of them that way. I don't like using stickers because they're stickers. You don't want to put stickers and then have to, you might hurt them trying to get the sticker off. Also, when they're walking through paint, a lot of zoos will do that to make the roach paintings. They end up grooming themselves, which is another behavior that it's going to take away from what you want to observe. I'm over time. But that's how that one goes. So this is basically going to be your setup. Decide how long you want your observations to be and observe. You can do a couple repetitions of that, and you can use different scents. You can use like fruit scents. I used a grape the one time. You can use blueberry, but that might be a variable. Maybe they're eating, maybe you're attracted to the remnant of the fruit juice on there. So just experiment with different scents and see what happens. But this is a quick experiment that you can do in the classroom. I think it's really good for homeschool because you have, I'm not going to say different sessions and stuff, but, your home, you can probably do it. It might be easier than a classroom setting. But yeah, if you have any questions, just list them in the comments and I will answer the questions, and I will hopefully post another video that's edited, and maybe we can include some charts and some pictures and stuff. All right, thank you.